I'm
How's
thrilled.
the energy?
A little red eye to get here. I'm feeling good after the last round, but yeah, the seconds kind of followed me in my career. You know, we were second a lot with the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, but you were first a lot too, and I think that's one thing I wanted to ask you. We showed a couple clips there. You're heavily involved in the game. You love the game, so it's not like you've been away from it for a long time. But do you ever have time just to sit in your couch to think what you all accomplished, especially with those three that we just showed with yourself and Tom and Greg?
You know, it's like that catch-22. It's hard because we did go 14 years in a row.
Yeah.
But by the numerical number, we only won once. And somebody down here at the end got a chance to win a few more times along with him. And, you know, sports can be cruel. And we were given a lot of great opportunities, and we were in every one of them. But I've never understood why that trumps our success of 14 in a row. But that's what sports is. What have you done? And I tell you, there's some gut punches still for me that when you're a competitor and you want to win, and we were so close, you replay that over and over in your mind. You're like, if we'd have done this or done that, you know, and we all have those moments. But at the end of the day, we got a chance to do something leaving spring training everybody dreams of. We knew we were going to be pretty darn good for 14 years in a row, and that's all you can ask for as a player.
John, one of the things we talked a little bit at dinner last night of missing the big Titans lineup. I mean, Clemens, Smoltz, Pedro against you name it. Tomorrow night we have a classic with Skubal and Skeens. What are a few things that impress you about both these guys?
You know, they are seem to be above their age of being a bulldog on the mound. They're not giving in to five and dive and throw as hard as you can. They both throw hard. They have tremendous stuff that can wipe out a lineup for 7 innings, 8 innings. And Paul Skeens is doing something in his career. You know, don't pay attention to the record because that is no indicative to what his team has done for him while he's been on the mound. But you know what I hope? And I hope we all find a way to say they got to be the exception to the rule. And what I mean by that is please don't get hurt. Please don't follow what everyone else is doing and how every pitcher seems to just give in to the system that we have today. I want to see these guys healthy. I know you guys just had Jacob deGrom, and that was my wish way back when, and he's had 2. And it looks like he's going to be okay after the second one. But, man, I want to see those guys fulfill the dreams all of us had to fulfill and play as long as they can. That's my wish, and I hope they're given the opportunity to not be so consumed with velocity that it runs them into the ground.
Jones, out of these 2 monsters, who are you expecting to see pitching out there? You think Shohei will pitch?
No. Shohei in this game? No. But he will in the future All-Star games, 100%. Shohei Ohtani is, I can't say enough. There's no words to describe it. I said this 3 years ago and people thought I lost my mind, but that's okay. I've lost my mind a bunch on some things that I've said. I said if it's a hypothetical, if he never hits and he pitches 1 year and all he does is pitch, he'll be the best pitcher in baseball. Well, I'm without a doubt. I don't have any reservations. I don't have any what ifs. If all he did was pitch, which he'll never do, he would be the best pitcher in baseball. That just tells you what you need to know about his athleticism, how good of a feel he has, and he can not only hit, but he can pitch. And the second half is going to be very interesting for the Dodgers and how they get him ready to do whatever they may see in September and October.
And I remember you saying early this year that he had the best slider that you have ever seen. And coming from you, that means a lot.
He's got a feel that you just can't teach and a desire and a... Listen, he has spoke his career into existence. He pre-wrote everything he wanted to do as a teenager, and there's something to be said for that.
Just to bring it back to Atlanta for a second, because you had so many successful years, as you talked about with the group. When you come back here, what is your most memorable moment as an Atlanta Brave, but then more importantly, your most memorable moment you've had here at the home ballpark?
I think for me, it's kind of maybe the same. The postseason's a postseason. It'll always be. I dream of pitching in Game 7s. That's probably the top. But getting my 3,000 strikeout when I was about to just end up getting surgery, I didn't realize, watching Kershaw go through it, I had goosebumps. I knew what he was dealing with. It's near the end. The crowd at home, getting a chance to do it at home. Nobody knew what I was going through. I was about to I knew I was about to have shoulder surgery, and I just wanted to get 2 strikeouts. And I ended up getting 8 or 10 that game, but that to me, I couldn't sink in because I was so focused on my body that when I got home, I went, wow. You know, that hit me more and more the longer I thought about it. And it's just a number, but the crowd knew. Like, I've never pitched a game where with 2 strikes, they went crazy every single time. That's never happens. But they knew what was at stake. And that same thing was happening for Kershaw. And I was like, please let him get it. Please let him get it. And he got it in the perfect way. Coming out of the game, he could enjoy it. I got mine, and I had to keep going, and obviously wanted to keep going.
Well, it's not just a number; it's just a very big number.
That's right.
Yeah.
That not a lot of people get to, or maybe we'll ever do it again. So, John, the game tomorrow, we're doing something a little bit different. The ABS system, right, which was implemented by baseball in spring training. It's automated balls and strikes. Basically, it's a challenge system that either the hitter, the pitcher, or the catcher can initiate a challenge. They've got to do it right away, and they've got 2 per game. Now, 2 could turn into infinity if you keep getting it right. But you've got 2 per game. This is going back to spring training, just to give you an idea, right? Here's the pitch, looks outside, catcher says, or it's called the ball, catcher says, hey, I want to look, and we'll check that. And then they look right away. It takes, 10 seconds to look, and then they decide whether the call was correct or whether they changed the call. So we're going to do that in the All-Star game because baseball tried it in spring training, and, looking to implement that in the future just to take away those critical calls at critical moments. You're going to be watching it tomorrow, so I know you're going to have an opinion on it. But what would your opinion be if you were on the mound with it?
I would never let a pitcher challenge a strike, and that's coming from a pitcher. Because our eyes are not, well, wherever you finish, sometimes you just don't see it the right way. I'd trust a catcher and a hitter. They're more in, and I know I've lived it. I'm like, that's a strike. I know it's a strike, and I went in the video room. I'm like, that wasn't a strike.
By the way, I would never have a hitter because we have no idea. We think everything's a ball, and we're always wrong when we go back in the video.
Shohei is now building an impressive legacy in LA. We know that. He continues to amaze fans and torment opponents. But behind the scenes, his teammates tell us of his secret identity.
Shohei's really funny. He's always trying to make jokes to have a good time with his teammates.
Really just how funny he is, man, with us. I mean, he's laughing, joking. He'll crack a little joke in our hitters meetings, and you kind of don't expect it. And, he's a really funny guy.
Well, I think the world is starting to understand that he's a practical joker. They put my car! Shohei got me. Shohei's behind this?
Yes.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Now tie.
He has become more free and easy, more jovial, and I think he's starting to become the person who he really intrinsically is.
Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
The thing I really like the most that I'm very impressed is how Shohei handles all the things going on around him, and he's so consistent every day with being the same person.
And Ohtani torches one, tosses the bat, and watches it fly.
Every single night he does something that I've never seen before. Even when he gets out, he's hitting it out 120 miles an hour, and you're kind of like, did I just see that right? It's truly kind of a blessing to be his teammate.
He is actually changing the game of baseball. He never ceases to amaze. It's incredible. It really is.
It's pretty amazing, right? Shohei Ohtani, just to give you an idea of how amazingly talented he is, if you already didn't know, his numbers when he is a pitcher, it really isn't a drop-off, which is kind of nuts, right? I mean, it just gives you a feel for, someone says, well, he shouldn't pitch, it affects his hitting. Well, it doesn't. That's kind of the idea. But now, though, EK, I'm curious, the Dodgers and how they deal with him going forward, right? Obviously, they're ramping him up slowly here, but there are other factors. Even though we showed you his production is still good, there are other things to take into consideration now the rest of the year when he pitches.
Well, it's obviously the offense and how does that impact it. The starting so far and then hitting right when he comes off the mound. I mean, it's only a small sample size. It's been 4 at-bats. He struck out 4 times. He didn't do this in Anaheim. It wasn't, I mean, he did it a handful of times. I think there were probably 7 or 11 at-bats in his career. He wasn't a leadoff hitter. So that's something that's going to be it's going to be talked about, right? I don't know that it's going to be addressed. The only way anything gets addressed is if Shohei says, I'm not so sure I want to do this. But it will absolutely be talked about. Look, Shohei can do what he wants to do, right? Because when you are that good, and look he had his third start the other day, and I was talking about him coming back, and it's like climbing a ladder. You can't expect him to go all the way to the top in 2 or 3 starts. Right. That third start the other day when he threw 100, my man went up about 6 steps, right? So he can do whatever he wants to do. It's for us to talk about, but the reality is 4 strikeouts and 4 at-bats.
There's a couple components. First of all, that third start, seeing him touch triple digits and really having the secondary stuff to pair, it's like, it might be scary hours if they're able to build him up. The other component is him leading off, especially at home. He might have a long inning one time. He might throw 25 to 30 pitches, and all of a sudden you don't have a breath. Maybe they might discuss moving him down in the lineup, maybe the second or third, just to be able to get some water, get under you. Listen, I'm not comparing myself to Shohei Ohtani at all, but I'm a National League guy, so I know how it is to hit, come off the field, and then lead off an inning, or vice versa. I had that one mistake where I ran a triple, and all of a sudden I couldn't even get the sign because I was so gassed on the mound. Now, Shohei is a unicorn. He's outstanding. He's been doing it. He wants to be that two-way guy because in the end, it's legacy for him. He wants to be remembered as the best baseball player of all time, and he continues to trend that way as long as he stays healthy. Now, the problem is you cannot lose him. There's no such thing as a third Tommy John, and that's the scary part about it. So you're seeing his velocity uptick right now. You're excited about that, but Dave Roberts loses him not only on the mound and in the lineup. I don't believe they're the best team in the National League. It's going to be very difficult for them to repeat again if they lose him. So they're going to slow play him very much.
Yeah. I guess I'd say this too. Has there been anything that he's been asked to do that he can't do?
He can do it all.
No. Right? That's the scary thing. Is like we can sit here and say, well, this might not work.
He's not running as much. And so I think he's starting to learn how to conserve his energy as well. You know what I mean? Because that's tough, man, to be able. I don't care how athletic, how in shape you are. I know he lives and breathes and sleeps baseball, but we have to have a perspective for him, even though his bar is very high.
Running game has been impacted.